Kira, thanks for joining us today. Stephanie Jones has written a provocative new play that takes on the power dynamics of the sex trade industry. Essential Collective Theatre presents John School March 10th to 17th at the PAC's Robinson Theatre. Stephanie, after 2 COVID cancellations, it's finally hitting the stage.
It's great that I've had that time. It's a social justice piece, so things evolve. Things constantly evolve. So the last 2 social justice plays that I've seen, they don't even publish the script so that it can keep evolving. So I suspect this will evolve as well.
Tell me about your inspiration for this. This is something, it could be seen as maybe a little bit controversial, but it really does tackle this dynamic between prostitutes and the people that use their services, the Johns.
I mean, there are 3 central themes. One is power dynamics in the workplace, and that is independent of the industry. And then there was lost women, and then there is survival sex trade workers. I was inspired basically by growing up in Niagara, and we used to go over the river to go drinking when I was a kid, like just a teenager. And we'd come back, we'd take the lower bridge, and there were these women on the street. And I remember thinking, who are those women? What are their stories? And then cut to, 30 years later, I'm working in New York and traveling back and forth on the weekends. And I still see the women on the street. And I go, 30 years have gone by. What's happening? And I think that was really, it unsettled me. And I started to investigate and figure out why this is a supply and demand issue. And that led to the power dynamics that happen between men and women anywhere. And then the missing women, there's always been these stories. Now Facebook has access to them, but they lingered as children of growing up in the region of people who went missing, not just women, but people. And I always wondered, what are their stories? What's happened to them? So why is nobody solving the problem? Is someone solving the problem? So I started to research a lot and created this play after I saw a play called Nirbhaya, which is a South Asian piece. I saw it in New York and went, I think I'd like to write something like that here in Niagara and focus on these issues, the issues that I grew up with.
Do you tackle a little bit of the issue that, these people who are in the sex trade are marginalized people in many cases? The missing women also have been marginalized in many ways. And, their lives have not been judged as important to look into in many cases.
It really is connected to so many things. That's why I have to tell it from so many points of view, but it's connected to classism and materialism and underprivileged and who is privileged and who is not. And if you don't look at the larger picture, then you get a really narrow point of view. So it's told from multiple points of view, and it tries to do what I think theater does. So not as a journalist, but as a theater maker, I think theater can use poetry to tell stories. It can use abstract images to tell stories. And then it's not, is this real? It's the emotion that we have, the feeling that we have to create change, to make our world better. That's universal.